welcome back to the Couch Command. Let me introduce our guests. And also, a friend of mine did a trailer for our podcast, and he mentioned how I never introduced myself. So, hi, I'm Keith Justice. Welcome to the Couch Command podcast. And with me today, I have Chuck, an old friend.
Hello, everybody. I want to thank these guys for having me on. We'll be talking about the things I've been geeking out on, as well as the movie The Black Hole, which I like to think I'm kind of an expert on. But yeah, we'll get to that.
Looking forward to it, dude. Chuck, have we ever podcasted together ever?
Well, I think we did twice before. Once a few years back, you and I sort of did like an intro podcast to something, or maybe it was just sort of like a test episode where you and I were just talking about different topics and shit shooting. Can we swear on this?
Yes, we can.
All right, we were shit shooting for reals. So yeah. So I'm sort of getting back into the game. So we'll see how it goes.
Glad to have you on. Also with me, I have MJ.
Greetings and salutations, folks.
All right, and also I have returning Matt.
Hey. I interrupted my own introduction, but it's good to be
impressive. Back. Great to have you on again, dude.
Thanks, man.
All right, so starting with the new guy or old guy, the new old guy, the old friend Chuck. What have you been geeking on, my old friend?
The old person of the group,
the friend, the friend who's not, but the all right.
All right.
Something else.
Of similar age to all of us, but we're get out, Chuck. What up, man?
Hello. So this is our geeking out section. I guess we're talking about stuff we've been chilling on. Well, I've been geeking out on job hunting.
Right.
Yeah, good times. So, but in my career, it's a lot of fun. I'm a graphic designer, web designer, UI designer. So, a lot of fun. There's a lot out there to explore. But when I haven't been job hunting, I kind of take a break to play. I've been playing a couple of PC games. They're indie games. One is called Monster Train, and the other one is called Fights in Tight Spaces. Monster Train is kind of like a, how would you say? It's sort of a tower defense game where hell has frozen over, and you play as the minions of hell, and you're on a train delivering this crystal to unfreeze hell, and you're fighting against angels and sort of like heavenly beings.
Bad.
And it is. It all takes place in a on a single car of a train that houses the crystal that you're delivering. And there are 4 levels to the train, and the enemies, they spawn at the bottom of the train on the first level, and they work their way up. And you have to play cards to place minions and to fight them off and to cast spells and stuff like that. What I love about it, I love collectible card games when there's no like transactions or pay to win or pay anything. So you buy the game, all the cards are there, and it's beautiful. I highly recommend it. It has the visual aesthetic reminds me a lot of Hearthstone. So if you like sort of like that kind of colorful, vibrant art style, this game is just gorgeous. I absolutely love it. I bought it in 2020, and I'm over like 1,500 hours on Steam. So
goddamn.
Yeah.
When did you? How would you game? So like, how did you end up picking these?
Well, PC Gamer, I saw an article on PCGamer.com, and they were saying, okay, if you love the game Slay the Spire, which is kind of similar in a way, these are sort of alternatives you could play to Slay the Spire. And
right.
I absolutely love Slay the Spire. It's another kind of, I'm not saying it's not really a tower defense game, but you're sort of working your way through a map, and you run into different encounters, and again, you play cards from a deck and of minions and abilities. So yeah, that's one of the games I've been geeking out on. The other one, Fights in Tight Spaces, very similar, where it's another kind of card game where it's like a John Wick or like a Jason. Is it Statham? The Jason Statham film? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Yep.
Yeah, I thought you were going to go with Bourne, but I am looking at the screenshots, and it's definitely more Jason Statham.
Yeah. I mean, the visual is quite striking. Very black, white, high contrast with some splashes of red for blood. And to perform, it's like a kung fu game practically. And to perform moves, you play cards from your deck. And the cards have like movement, actions, attacks, defense, that sort of thing.
Awesome. So really quick, I want to go back to Monster Train. It's interesting. If I had seen this, just like pictures of it floating around online, there's no way I would have stopped and looked at it. I would have been like, oh, another mobile game. No, thank you. Because that's really, like, to me, like, initially looking at it, that's what it makes me think of. But this thing has gotten amazing reviews on Steam. Wow. Yeah, like the all reviews is overwhelmingly positive, and it's all like pushing 16,000 reviews.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so this is oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely not it's not. I can see how it may feel like mobile because of the kind of collecting cards or as a card deck.
Yeah.
And yeah, I do not care for mobile games at all, really.
And also, I just started watching like a little preview thing of it while you were talking, and like halfway through this first preview on Steam, there's this looks like a blacksmith lady.
Yes.
And she looks absolutely ripped as hell. She looks freaking awesome.
Yeah, she's actually one of the better cards you can get because she has like an attack that hits all of the enemies, and it actually increases the slot on your level, so you can place more minions to help push back.
Badass. Well, I mean, go ahead, Keith. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, and how many hours have you played?
Over 1,500. I'm not in Steam right now.
God
but
damn. Yeah, man. I felt pretty proud of myself a little while ago. I clocked in maybe 100 some hours on Earth Defense Force, I think. And I was like, yeah, man, I'm a fucking gamer. And like, oh, okay,
look at you go.
Back down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let me sit back
You've
down.
entered the realm of professionals.
Nothing.
It really is. It really is. I mean, I remember back in the day playing like Final Fantasy 3/6 and putting like 80 hours in and thinking like, wow, that's my whole life. 80 hours.
I'm looking at the preview videos of Fights in Tight Spaces. I like the visual aesthetic of it. That looks pretty neat. Almost reminds me of the old stick figure kung fu videos that were viral about 20 years ago.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, and the way I found that video was via Alex Navarro from the at the time he was at Giant Bomb, but then him and a couple others left to start their own group called Nextlander. And in one of their podcasts, he was talking about it, and he was mentioned it's like collectible. It's like a card game without sort of like the mobile thing you run into with having to pay to upgrade cards and get new cards. And I'm like, it's all contained in one package, and I'm like, that's right up my alley.
What
site did they
move over to?
Nextlander is
what site Nextlander.
They left Giant Bomb now. Alex Navarro, Brad Shoemaker, and Vincent Caravella. For gamers out there who are listening, they may be familiar with Giant Bomb, but which is a video game. It's a video game wiki site, but they also had a popular podcast with Jeff Gersman and Ryan Davis, Patrick Klepek, some other folks.
Yeah, I thought that I found it interesting that like Giant Bomb was founded because those people left GameSpot.
Yep. Yeah, Jeff Gersman when he got fired from GameSpot because of
the notorious
giving poor reviews to Kane and Lynch.
There you go. Kane and Lynch.
Yeah.
And now they've left Giant Bomb to go onto Nextlander.
Yep.
Which doesn't seem to have a website.
Oh, yeah, I don't think so. They have a Patreon page, but they also they're on Twitch, I believe, and they have definitely on YouTube. And
so now the question is, if I go visit the giantbomb.com website, is the FBI going to open a file on me?
Yes, they will. Got
some keywords there.
Yeah, when I started visiting Giant Bomb, I actually, when I signed on to my network, I noticed there was an extra little network in the list to choose from called FBI Van Number 5. So they're parked somewhere in the neighborhood, so you better be careful.
Yeah,
because
watch out.
They want
watch
the
out
latest and greatest in video game entertainment.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah,
that's it.
FBI Van Number 5.
Yep.
Here come the men in black.
All right. Anything else from Geeking On, my friend?
No, that's pretty much it. One quick thing. We could talk more later, maybe on a separate cast. But I finally received my HasLab Proton Pack.
Oh
no!
yeah.
What? Ooh. No, this is all right. No, let's hear about that. I'm very curious.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. About a year ago.
And wait, really quickly.
Yes.
Do you have Proton Packs now? It's like there was the Spirit of Halloween one.
Actually, I have 3. 3 Proton Packs.
This guy.
3 Proton. Nerd.
Hey,
I'll see myself.
Awesome. No, man. I think you dropped your crown, King. I think you dropped your crown.
Yeah, that's so awesome.
Yes, but I've got 3.
Yeah, no. I'm very discerning when it comes to my Proton Packs since I was a kid. Like when I got the original Real Ghostbusters Proton Pack when I was a kid, I
missed that one.
I fucking hated it. It was too small for me. Oh, it was awful. It was too small for me.
Yeah, I wanted one sad as a kid.
Yeah, the particle thrower was great, but so what I ended up doing was taking that and making my own Proton Pack out of a cardboard box and wires and paper plates, and that felt good. It actually felt like it fit my body a lot better to like what you see on the screen.
Actually, I kind of agree with that. That big hunk of plastic that they gave you and those chintzy little straps they put on it, it was a little uncomfortable.
It was.
Yeah, and meant for a much younger age than I guess I was at the time. So, but yeah, so like the Spirit Proton Pack I didn't want because it's actually 20% smaller than the actual size. I want like my 1-to-1 authentic. So I got years ago I bought like a kit from Anovos, who's not around anymore. They're known for making high quality reproduction props, so like everything from Star Wars to Star Trek. I got a bunch of their Trek stuff. Yeah. Oh, great. Yeah. So you know how it is and how the quality is.
I miss those guys. Those guys put out some quality stuff.
Oh yeah. Like when I got the pack from them, you had to assemble it yourself, but it was all scanned and molded from the original packs from 1984.
Nice.
So yeah, you get the fiberglass shell, you get all the parts, you just have to put it all together yourself. But then when HasLab, which is known for creating mass-produced sort of kick-started toys and props and whatnot, last year they announced they were going to do a backpack based off of the character Phoebe's backpack from Ghostbusters Afterlife.
Nice.
Yeah, so I bought 2 of those and got 2 particle throwers, and holy cow, it's amazing. I should send you guys some photos of that, but you can easily dig them up online.
Yeah, but honestly, you should send some photos over, and maybe we can put those in the show notes or something.
Yeah. Definitely. I'll take photos of mine and maybe like a quick list of what I plan on doing for upgrading the pack. So like I'll be putting on real like electrical tape, and I'm going to be painting some parts like the brass fittings to make them look brass and
So does it come with the sound effects and the light effects, all of the props in the movie?
Yes, it does. In fact, you have 2 settings. It's you have the afterlife effects where the cyclotron, which is that spinning red thing at the bottom, it's like a continuous spin, like you can see it spinning around. But then you can put on 1984 mode, where instead of it spinning, each of the 4 round lights kind of light up individually, as if it's spinning around, but it doesn't look like it's whirling around. So then you have the blue what do they call it? Bar graph, I think they call it. The blue bar graph on the upper left side goes up and down, and there's the vibration modes you could turn on and off, and so it kind of feels like pack is really unstable.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
getting up here and back away from the person who turned it on.
Yep.
Unlicensed nuclear accelerator.
Yeah. For
how's it compare against
cockroaches.
How does it compare against the Spirit of Halloween?
It's 1-to-1. The size is 1-to-1 to the backpacks that were used in the movies. Spirit Halloween is 20% smaller than what the actual backpack size would be.
They do that to dodge the licensing or something, or what?
I think it's just to cut down on costs, because for the longest time, it's been impossible to mass produce a backpack that is, I don't know, fiscally responsible, economically feasible.
Yeah, that one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, phew. All right. 10 years ago, Maddie, Mattel's division of high-end props called Maddie Collector, they released a ghost trap, PKE meter, particle thrower, ecto goggles, and they were all 1-to-1. They all had like lights, and sound, and movement. They did everything but the backpack because it was just they couldn't make it would have been too expensive. Just to give you an idea,
I got the PKE meter from that series. That's awesome.
That's cool.
Y'all are making me jealous. Here, I got a question. Did you get Egon Spengler's particle thrower? Because Hasbro was selling that too, right?
Yes, correct. And in fact, it connects to the backpack in a way where you don't need batteries, so you can use the particle thrower to turn on the backpack. There's some
my god
sensor between the two.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So I'm just grateful. Like there are 3 bucket list items that I've always wanted to get before I leave this realm, and number 1 being a full-sized remote control R2D2, like a high quality R2D2, like what you see rolling around at a convention or a Star Wars celebration. Number 2, proton pack. So I got that, and number 3, a nice like lightsaber. Like a high quality lightsaber, and I got my backpack, so I'm so happy. I'm excited. I feel like a kid again.
Amazing.
I'm surprised not M4-1A pulse rifle. You don't the pulse rifle?
I love the pulse
Aliens?
rifle. Yeah. When it came out, I just couldn't do it. I couldn't pull the trigger because I already got the backpacks, and I dropped.
Pun intended.
It's like. Yeah,
I get you.
Yeah, a lot of money. The backpack was like $400, which I mean,
that makes sense. Yeah, pick one.
Yeah,
so I'm looking at this backpack, and like $400 is worth it for everything that thing came with.
Absolutely.
I'm kind of wishing that I'd backed it. Looking at it now, but that said, to go back, you were saying a full sized remote control R2D2. I'm assuming you heard about the one that's available at Galaxy's Edge, right?
Full size?
Yes,
Yeah. But it's a little pricey. It is a full size remote control R2D2. You can buy it at Galaxy's Edge in Disney World, but it costs $25,000.
God damn!
Oh my! Wow.
Yeah.
Let's see. New car R2D2. New car R2D2.
Someone was like, "There's gonna be somebody who wants to buy one." And we're going to be ready for it.
We're going to be ready. They're going to show up. They're going to buy it.
Well, if we split it up between the 4 of us, I mean, we could make it happen, right, guys? Right? Let's do it.
Yeah. In the age of 3D printing, you could make one for an nth of that. That's insane. Yeah. So it wasn't made with titanium? Jesus.
No, it's way too much. It's absurd.
Agreed, yeah. And the thing is with building R2D2s, I when I was at Star Wars Celebration in 2015, I went to an R2 builders panel, and they were talking about how there are a lot of cheap, affordable alternatives. You could use wood, you can 3D printing, like you said, styrene. But then when you get sort of to the upper ends of it, it's aluminum. I think is what the higher end R2s use.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they know rich people are coming through that park, and they want each one of rich people's money.
Yeah, right. They have to figure out like how to get all the rich people money, and so they had to get a real high end item. I mean, I'm telling you, like I went to Galaxy's Edge a couple of years ago, and I thought I was being reasonable with how much I spent, and oh my gosh, you bleed money at that place.
Well, it's Disney World for you. I mean,
Yeah.
It's insane. I've never been before,
what
but anyway, yeah.
Exceptional way.
It's just, it all adds up, right? Like everything you get, it's all an experience, right? And it's all done in a way where it's like, oh, well, who knows? Maybe this will be the only time you're here. This is a special thing. Go ahead and spend the money, And so like the food costs a lot, the drinks cost a lot, the individual experiences cost a lot. And so like through that, it adds up. Like I think the most money I spent actually ended up being at Epcot because we did this around the world thing where we tried to drink.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, a different drink in every part of the world because Epcot has like a Japan world and a Canada world, and they all have their different drinks, and each one costs like between $15 and $20.
Yep.
Wow.
And so next thing,
$20 drinks.
Yeah. And next thing you know, you spent like $200 plus on drinks.
Sounds like definitely an event.
Mm-hmm.
Here, I thought downtown Milwaukee was expensive.
Oh, dude, listen. We want to talk about expensive drinks. We can talk about Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh my God, y'all.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Chuck, I'm glad you got your Proton Pack, but you know what I would like to finally get some love is one of the full-size slime throwers from Ghostbusters 2. I have never seen anybody walk around one of those. I want to see a full-size rep of one of those. And fully functional, too.
Yes! All right, now here's a question. Now, are you thinking that this would actually shoot some sort of slime, or like colored water, or what are your thoughts on that?
Full commitment, man. It has to be full commitment. I'll even walk around dressed as Vigo if that's what it takes.
Vigo the Carpathian.
Vaseline, and green food coloring.
Or some people wonder if you're filming a porno, but at that point, whatever.
Hey,
to each their own.
Yeah, absolutely. That is,
porno.
Listen, one man's Ghostbuster 2 prop is another man's porno.
Yep.
If I've heard it once, I've heard it a million times.
Dancing toaster, sign me up.
Speaking of,
sounds like a Friday night to me.
Doc Falconer, what have you been geeking on lately?
Oh, thank you. My girlfriend just handed me a Red Bull.
All right.
Anyway, yeah. So, all right. So, okay. So I just started, I think like a lot of people, and so maybe we can all talk about this as well. I just started watching Last of Us on HBO.
Yes.
And oh my goodness, it's so freaking good. Like, so far everything about it is hitting like all the notes. But I'm coming at it from a perspective where I never played the game.
Same here.
Oh, okay, nice. Yeah, and everybody's for years has said, dude, you got to play this game. You got to play The Last of Us. And the recent sell one of my friends did for me was, all right, here's the deal. It's not fun. You're not going to have fun playing this game, but it's an experience. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for me, that's not a selling point.
That's kind of why I'm not watching it.
Right.
Yeah, just really quickly, like, I don't want, right now, I'm not looking for more zombie misery porn. So, yeah, that's why I'm avoiding it.
Hasn't gone that far yet.
All right. But across the board, on my feed, people are just going nuts over how incredible it is.
It's so good. And like, I don't know what happens in the game, so I'm not sure if it is that sort of like misery porn. Like, honestly, that's what The Walking Dead is. Like, how can we have horrible things happen to these people in different ways? And that's really what it turned into when it became clear that there was no hope. And I'm not getting that feeling from this, but I mean, look, most zombie movies, games, media go the same way, in that there's no hope.
Okay,
right. I just kind of like the angle that it's the fungus that's taking over the world and controlling everything, and that just seems to add an additional level of body horror that wasn't really quite there or believable for The Walking Dead. And I think even The Walking Dead became self-aware of that, and you're like, okay, how can we make the human misery so palpable that becomes the backbone of our show? And I'm really hoping that doesn't happen with The Last of Us, but all I know is I've had Depeche Mode stuck in my head for the last 2 weeks. Thanks a lot, HBO.
Whoa. I love Depeche Mode.
I do too, but God damn it! That was probably the most effective use of "Never Let Me Down Again" I've ever seen.
Ooh, oh
So
boy.
let's hear some impressions on like what good is it do? What good marks is it hitting, and maybe how is it maybe besting Walking Dead?
It's. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh yeah, sure. So for me, right off the bat, it's like a lot of they kind of like start before like everything that's gone wrong, and then they jump straight into now we're seeing the world like 20 years in, right? Mm-hmm. So this is the world surviving 20 years after the zombie apocalypse, and how people have survived, the kind of societies that have sprung up, and how things have changed, and like how kids born into it, how they act, and how different they are from people who were around, before the zombie apocalypse struck. So I think that's one really interesting thing. I mean, another thing is obviously it was done with an extreme amount of care. I played like the very beginning of Last of Us, and the very beginning of the show was almost like a shot-for-shot recreation of what happens in the beginning of the game. And so I think right off the bat, they're saying, hey, listen, you're people who are fans of this game, you're in good hands. All right. We're going to take care of you, and you're going to enjoy this.
Unlike poor Halo fans.
I mean, listen.
Halo, Witcher, yeah.
Oh yeah, Witcher 2.
Oh boy, I mean, I really enjoyed that first season of Witcher, and then I tried to watch the second season, and I couldn't get into it.
Same. Well, the Witcher 3 at this like the first season was like a little unnecessarily complicated, and like it kind of wore me out already. And I was like, okay, that's enough of that.
Oh boy, yeah, I'm really at a point now where there's so much media, and we all have so many choices that if something doesn't grab me pretty quick, I just put it down and start looking again.
Drink from the fire hose, man. Drink from the fire hose. They're depending on you.
Drink from the slime blower.
Yeah.
The way I'm geeking lately is certain. The way I'm geeking is like specific purpose. It's like I need to have X, or they're looking to have this experience. So I like kind of go through the entire pile of geekness and select from there. Because another reason why I'm not watching The Last of Us is I'm going against this need to follow like the thing that everybody's watching, because to me it just stresses me out a little bit. Keeping up with like what's the next thing everybody's watching? Yeah, keep up with it, and like I'm just like no stress, please. Now I'm going to go back to just Legend of the Seeker, which I'll talk about later, which is on my own pace and no one else is watching it. There's no social pressure to. Yeah, and also I do feel like they're like new stuff. There's always like this social pressure, like if you don't like it, even if it sucks, we get to judge you. I'm like, I don't want to play that game anymore. It's been
Well, I mean,
it seems to be far less social pressure to watch The Last of Us versus like Yellowstone and all of its little spin-offs right now, because that's a whole phenomenon unto itself.
I wasn't feeling like a whole lot of pressure in regard to Last of Us. I mean, granted, I don't have the sort of social situation that you have, like on Facebook and whatnot, Keith. Which you're coming from a very different situation.
Mm-hmm.
But like Last of Us was just sort of like I was just looking around for something to watch, and that kind of like fell into my lap, and it kind of like crossed some boundaries, not boundaries, but it's sort of like it worked for both Catherine and me as a thing to watch. And so started up and it is really good. But I know what you mean. Like a lot of times, like a lot of those, like everybody's watching it, you need to love it sort of shows. Like I never get into. Like what's it called? That one with all the drugs, Breaking Bad. Like I've tried to watch that several times and I cannot get into Breaking Bad.
Once you get past the first half of first season, it just goes from there. And that after second season, when they start introducing some of the ancillary characters, that is why I appreciate it. I mean, everybody loves the two main leads, but it's all about the ancillary characters with that series for me.
I'd almost say like if I hope that he would ever get there, but like to me, like it's got like one of the best first episodes of almost any show of all time. So if that's not clicking with you, maybe now is just not the time.
Right. Well, I think like every once in a while I'll watch clips, right, from Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad, and I'm amazed by them. They're just everything about them is perfect. Like the acting, the videography, like it's all so freaking perfect. And then I try to watch this series and I can't do it. But I think you're right, Keith. I think right now it's just sort of like not there for me.
Mm-hmm.
And a long time ago, I kind of learned like a new game would come out, right? And everybody's like, "Oh, you got to play this game." It's like the best kind of this sort of game. And I try to play it, and I would not be able to get into it. And I'd be like, "Oh, it doesn't matter how good it is if I'm not into that sort of game."
Gotcha. Yep.
You know, like I'm probably not going to enjoy a book about submarines, even if it's the best book about submarines, because I just don't care.
Yeah, that's like kind of how I fell out of like the video game zeitgeist, where everybody's playing this one game. I'm like, but I don't like that genre. But even though the game might be great, it's just like just not what I'm looking for right now. Oh, speaking of the game,
right hook. Yeah,
the game. Are you going to play the game now?
Oh, we'll see. I'm going to try again. But this actually segues pretty nice into my second thing that I'm geeking on. And I never thought that I would say this, but I am playing and enjoying Call of Duty.
Ooh, weird. That is very weird. How did this one? Which one?
It's the new one. It's the Call of Duty 2 Ultimate Warzone. Get your gun, Annie. I don't know.
Your gun, Annie.
Annie, get your gun. It's time for Warzone. Get out there.
As long as you don't become a Call of Duty bro, man, you'll be all right.
Yeah, right. And that's kind of what I'm thinking is, so basically there's a new version. There's a version in Call of Duty that's free called DMZ. And you play with two other friends. It's only 3 of you, and they drop you into like this area where you can like go around and like collect other weapons and armors and stuff like that. And you level things up, and you can kind of put together your own gun out of it and everything. And then you try to like exit before you get killed by the computer or other people. And you can actually meet up with other groups and join up if you want to, like up to 6 people. And for whatever reason, it's just scratching a particular itch, and it's really freaking good.
Hey, Doc,
sometimes you just need to blow shit up.
That's right.
Doc, I was going to say, have you ever played PUBG?
No, I never did play PUBG. That's like the tournament thing, like one person left standing sort of situation, right?
Yeah. My impression of is it DMZ is I've seen some videos on it, and it kind of reminds me of that, where there's isn't there like a circle that's constantly shrinking, and you have to stay with it's just like that.
So it's a battle royale.
It is.
Yep.
It is. But like, you don't necessarily have to kill other players. Like there's some times I've played alone, and I've just gone in and done like the little missions I needed to do, and then did an exfil, which is like how you run away. You call a helicopter, it comes and picks you up. And so yeah, if I'm playing by myself, I'll just like go in, I'll do my couple of things and run away, just so I can get my stuff. Because if you get killed before you do an exfil, you like lose all your stuff.
Oh,
yeah.
So it's like a multiplayer. You play with some friends, and you go in and you battle to gain stuff and escape.
You got it. Yep.
All right.
What are you playing it on?
PC. But
isn't it free to play? Because I'd be up for that.
It is free to play.
All
it is indeed, and I would actually recommend it. So yeah, I mean that's something like if y'all ever want to play that, you let me know, and yeah, we can rock out with some DMZ. Yeah. So yeah, I think that's about. Oh, let me look around my room really quick, make sure I didn't buy something cool. Oh yeah, all right, I got one more thing. This will be quick. Storm Collectibles, they make kind of like bigger 1/12 scale figures, and I relatively recently got a Zangief from Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
And what's that?
Bless you. Oh, Zangief, sorry.
Zangief. Oh yeah.
Gesundheit.
Yeah, yoga bless you. He's amazing. He's so freaking good. He's on top of my computer, and I'll be working during the day, and I'll just like look up and stare at him, be like, wow, he's freaking great. And I have a Rainbow Mika figure that I've had for years, and the two, they just look so freaking good together.
He's 12-inch scale?
He's 12. He's technically 6-inch scale, but he's pushing 8 inches because he's Zangief.
Cool. All right.
112.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. And
that's it.
yeah, anything else?
Nah, that's enough.
Mr. MJ, we've been dorking on.
What have I been dorking on? Well, I finally had, since this segment always turns into what classic movies has Matt never seen before that he's finally shoving himself into. I finally saw Metropolis, the 1927 silent film classic by Fritz Lang. I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen that one.
Heard of it.
Always wanted to.
Yeah,
Seen some figures.
Highly, 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 highly recommend it. I never thought I'd be able to sit for 3 hours through a silent movie.
Cool.
It's
3 hours
fantastic.
long?
The full cut. This one's been through more cuts than Blade Runner. And up until 2008, there was no complete cut of the film that existed, but they found a reel of it in Argentina in 2008 that they restored, and that was the cut that I saw. And
whoa.
I can't believe that came out in 1927. About the only thing that helps maintain it as a period piece is the fact that it's black and white and there's no, nobody's talking out loud. The effects in that movie for 1927 are astounding, and I still have to go back through and rewatch Blade Runner because supposedly there are a lot of visual homages to Metropolis in Blade Runner in the full cut that Ridley Scott put out.
Interesting.
It's just I was transfixed. I could not believe this came out in 1927.
And where did you find it to watch?
Oh, it's out on YouTube. It's out on various platforms, and it became public domain on January 1st of this year, funny enough. So I would not be surprised if somebody decides to take the bull by the horns and take a whack at updating
it.
Yeah.
Well,
oh yeah, there it is.
Treating it with the reverence that maybe it's due, and not like Giorgio Moroder's cut from the mid-1980s, which is just a mid-80s techno nightmare. But that's also out on YouTube if you want to laugh uproariously at the chutzpah of some people that take previous works and just put in the blender of weirdness.
Is this the good version? That's 2 hours, 24 minutes?
Full cut is almost 3 hours. I will see if I can dig that up.
Movie. Yeah. I see another one that's 3 hours.
Yes. So if you guys have never seen Metropolis, and anybody who's listening has never seen it, if you are really into all eras of sci-fi, please check it out. I mean, it was a German film, and it's got some social commentary of, the 1% living and breathing on the backs of the 99% and how that all trickles down. I mean, it's social commentary that's almost rote at this point because it's been done so much to death. But back in 1927, it was pretty profound, and it's a fantastic movie. If you've never seen it, I highly, highly recommend you guys give that a whirl.
Yeah,
it is now definitely on my radar. I've added it to my YouTube watch list because, I'm very interested.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the design of the robot, that female-looking robot, was inspired Ralph McQuarrie when Star Wars was in pre-production, and
I can see that. Yeah, there's a lot of that transferred in the McQuarrie style.
Yeah,
because I saw you had the action figure, I also got it, Chuck.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Those are so cool. But yeah, you look at that production painting of R2 and 3PO in the desert, and you can definitely see the inspiration there in 3PO.
Yeah, I love the extra imagination it evokes versus like getting something that's actually 3PO and R2. It just makes my imagination expand more. I saw it on your wall. You sent me a picture. I was like, oh my god, must have.
Yeah. There are other Ralph McQuarrie inspired Star Wars black figures out there too. So I think
I got the Luke Skywalker one as well.
Nice.
With the gas mask on was it the Cloud City, the concept art from it?
I don't know if it was.
From what I think, it's like it was concept art for a showdown Luke was going to have with Darth Vader on Cloud City, where he's got this like cool gas mask backpack thing on, and weird lightsaber. So yeah. I love concept art so much.
Oh, me too. Yeah, and I think originally Cloud City was supposed to be Alderaan. Like Alderaan was going to be in A New Hope, and the pre-production paintings for Cloud City was actually done for A New Hope and Alderaan.
Cool. All right.
I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's what I've heard.
Geeking on anything else, Mr. MJ?
Oh, then last week I decided to put myself through the masochism week because I started watching the first 4 episodes of Willow about a month ago, and
oh goddamn, 4 episodes! The first one choked me out, and I passed out, and I haven't gone back.
I haven't watched any of it.
Yeah,
it hurts.
Yeah, I rewatched the movie the night before they premiered, and was like, yeah, okay, there's no way they could possibly screw it up that much. I watched it, and the first 4 episodes upset me so much. I was like, okay, this is, no, I shouldn't say upset, more of annoyed. I just gave up, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to watch the rest of it. But mysteriously, nobody talked about the rest of the series after that, and it got me curious again, so I decided to go back and just finish watching it.
And?
Why did they do it?
I watched like recaps of it, and I'm glad that I didn't watch it. I don't know who it's made for, but I hope they're happy. But yeah,
I don't know if they were that thrown off by Val Kilmer not being able to come back as Mad Mardigan, but there was no point to it. And then the final frame at the end of the final episode, they show it closing as Volume 1 of 3. So it's like they've got in the can to already do 2 more seasons of this. Like, why?
Let's see. Are they getting another season? Willow.
Nothing confirmed, but
yeah, I haven't heard any buzz. Like the only buzz I heard on it was that like ratings tank, and just like lots of people going and a few people going, I loved it. It was the most I heard of it. So I'm not sure.
Know. I'm actually like, so what is it about it that people really dislike?
They made Sorsha and Willow just the crankiest old piss ants possible. It was just unpleasant to watch.
It's the Disney Star Wars thing. I'm like, I gotta say it. Like, it is to make the old guard shitty to prop up the new guard, and like and also like how they treat the guys in the show is really weird. Like, once again, when it comes to the minority guys characters, they kind of get punked. Like the Indian guy, like he gets a crush on the blonde haired girl. He gets regularly emasculated, and then I'm going to spoil it. Or killed off.
No. He's
what? Oh, he doesn't die.
No. Flash Thompson, because it's the same actor who plays Flash Thompson in the MCU Spider-Man movies. He's zapped away to another dimension and is captured by the Worm.
Oh,
which is supposed to be the big overarching bad of the Revival series. That you don't actually see the Worm itself because it takes the form of Allura at the end of the final episode. And yeah, I guess that's how they're going to keep it rolling. But I don't care.
From the glimpses that I saw, then I just didn't feel a joy of welcome back to the world of Willow, old fans. It's like, fuck you, old fans. Like. I guess it's not that harsh. It's just like
it's not that harsh.
When you see Willow and Sorsha, and then like, okay, so they downplay them. They're not that great, but I guess like I felt like they were going with an arc with Sorsha, so I kind of got what they were trying for, which was actually I'll give them credit for it, because Sorsha, she keeps on getting these kind of like flashes of evil. She gets like, like the princess is the new hero. And there'd be times where like Sorsha gets really upset, and then like it's because like her mother was an evil sorceress, and like she was raised as an evil soldier. So I will give it credit. Like I think people want to see their old heroes, like see how they've lifted up and maybe made themselves better. But Sorsha, she's still got the dark blood in her, which I gotta give him credit for doing that. So
all right,
that is the underlying arc to the entire thing, is that the blood of Bavmorda is flowing through Sorsha and Kit and Eric and they're fighting against their nature, and like, oh god, and then Kit's kind of taking over the mantle of Mad Mardigan as the swashbuckling adventurer of the family, and
Eric's a weenie.
Yeah, he's a big weenie. They try to have the crone be the way that they enchant the entire crew into it and lure Eric over her side, and just it's nothing about the story is compelling to make me want to watch the next season. It kind of bummed me out because the movie's, I love the whimsy of the movie. It was just a good mid-'80s fantasy movie, and I enjoyed it. The series just seemed to kind of forget what made the movie great.
Yeah, like forget and not care and not try to court. Like, I'll say, like, how many of us has watched all of Cobra Kai?
Me?
Yeah, I've seen all of Cobra Kai. Yeah,
Chuck?
No,
brother, dude. That to me, it's the gold standard of like how you do a legacy sequel. Where in Cobra Kai, like you do have a vast, diverse new cast of rising new heroes who the story is focused on, but like the pillars are still the old guard who are like slathered in flaws, but you still love them. Like it captures everything you loved about Karate Kid and that era, and lifts the new characters and old characters up so that new and old fans can have fun. Like I talked to like several coworkers whose kids love Cobra Kai. They don't give a shit about Karate Kid. So it just works on all levels where it's like, if you've never seen a Karate Kid and you don't care about one, you still have an entrance in and like can enjoy it. If you did love Karate Kid, welcome back to the universe and you're welcome. And yeah, like I just wish more stuff would be able to embrace that instead of saying that if you don't like the old, you're toxic, or if you don't like the new, you're toxic. Get over the old because we're trying to replace them. Is what I.
Well, I would be remiss. Be remiss in this conversation to not say I watched the entire series of Willow and really enjoyed it.
Oh my god!
Yeah, and
I'm so sorry.
No,
I'm sorry that we've been dumping on it.
No, not at all. Not at all. Listen, Keith, I feel like you and I have had this conversation any number of times. I think you've had it with other people too. It's okay to not like things.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
It's absolutely okay to not like it, and I can see why people wouldn't like this. There are aspects to it that are displeasing, But I will also say,
entire episode that was nothing but side quests. Yeah.
I'm glad you're bringing this to the conversation because I honestly I didn't watch it. I can't get past the first episode, but you gave it a full try and actually enjoyed it. So
I actually enjoyed it. And because listen, we were talking about. I'm not saying this is Breaking Bad. I'm not,
right.
I'm not a crazy person, but like it's.
We're all crazy in our own ways, man. It's all good.
Mm-hmm. Boy, ain't that the truth? But listen, I think that I really enjoyed it, and sometimes there was times I was watching it. I'm like, should I be enjoying this? Is there something I'm missing? Because I read some of the reviews and stuff. People were like, garbage. Like this is is being very disrespectful. But all right, couple of things. Thing one. I was never a huge Willow fan, like the 80s movie. Like if somebody said list your top 10 fantasy movies, Willow probably wouldn't have been involved in that. I did see it.
It was on mine.
It was?
Yeah. I used to get laughed at in the 90s because like when you're doing fantasy movies, all anybody could ever see is Conan, and I also throw in Willow and like people go, So yeah, big fan of Willow, but yeah, go on.
But here's the other thing, is my memory of Willow himself is that from the beginning, he was never that great. He was always kind of puffing himself up. He was always trying to present himself as being more powerful and capable than he was. And he is a real fake it until you make it kind of guy. I feel like he's always kind of been like that. And when they start this off, immediately, that's what he's doing. And I also thought that Warwick Davis did an excellent job playing that sort of character in this.
And that was fine, but he was dumping on everyone else around him like nobody could be anything around him. He was just snapping at everyone about everything. It just was draining to watch after 4 episodes.
I think without watching it, and I'm not as qualified as you two. I think people might really kind of wanted was to see like hopefully by this amount of time has passed that Warwick Davis and Willow had grown to a better status and stronger over what they once were.
If I may, this might be a sore spot that people already have because of Luke Skywalker.
Yes. I was going to bring that up too. This is was a post-traumatic stress syndrome from Last Jedi, and expecting more of it.
Yeah, but I will say that, like, yeah, he was grumpy. He was definitely doing the kind of grumpy old man thing. You might as well just give him some green milk and have him spill it all over his beard. But nevertheless, like, it's interesting. Like, I didn't find him all that grinding. Because I was sort of annoyed by the kids too. You know, I'm like, yeah, yell at those kids. You tell them what's what, buddy. And also, I feel like near the end of the series, like, a lot of the characters had like really great redeeming moments. And it sort of like had some nice arcs, honestly. And I mean, there were some moments that definitely felt a little forced. You know, kind of like, hey, this is what you're supposed to do with the series. Now, this sort of character is supposed to do well. These kind of, these ones got to pass the torch, etc., etc. It's like, yeah, that was kind of annoying. But overall, I felt satisfied. You know,
good.
I will give the last episode that there were some satisfying resolutions of some of the threads that they had running through the series. But it's just too bad the Pencilman episode was that freaking mud skipper episode and took forever to get across that sea. Just, I don't know what. It didn't feel like it should have been an 8-episode series. It felt like it should have been a 6-episode series because there were a lot of fluff that they could have cut out of this.
Yeah.
Which kind of led to the other part of my masochism week last week, which was watching The Witcher Blood Origins, which I kept hearing about from everyone was the worst thing ever made. And the main reason I watched that is because I couldn't believe that something with Michelle Yeoh in it could be that awful.
Mm-hmm.
So I sat down and I watched all 4 episodes. That's how you make a well-paced, well-edited fantasy series. Was it the perfect series? No, because the voiceovers made you feel like stupid and they're trying to explain it to 3rd graders. But that aside, I thought it was actually a very effective 4-part miniseries for what the story they were trying to tell.
Thanks.
And I hate to say it, that almost like Disney Plus should take some notes from Netflix. You're never going to hear me say that again. But
I and also, like, I think there's like a YouTube culture of you're gonna make some mad money if you dump on certain things really, really hard. And if you're like even on it or give it a good go or something like that, you're not gonna make as much money. So
everybody taking this, okay, there's gotta be a social agenda behind everything nowadays. I'm automatically gonna hate it before I start watching. Like, will you just sit down and chill out, people?
They don't make the money.
Take the story for what it's supposed to be. Take the writing and what they're doing for what it's supposed to be. Stop thinking there's an ulterior motive to every bloody thing. You'll live longer.
Oh boy, that'd be nice.
Yeah,
but I think maybe that you're right, MJ. That is what people do, and a lot of times, and Keith, maybe you're about to say this, is like that's for clicks. They they find that little thing and then they say, you know what? People are really pissed off about this social justice thing. Click here and find out more.
Because I'm actually like exactly this happened with like I'm a big fan of The Critical Drinker. I love his videos, and he did a mad takedown of the Glass Onion. And there's this other YouTuber that popped up and was like, I gotta call him out. I'm so sorry. No, this is bullshit. And like he went point for point and showed that like, holy shit. Critical Drinker, you straight up lied about certain parts that were bad, and like he like there's certain parts where a character shouldn't have seen or heard something, and Critical Drinker literally edited out certain key points that justified those moments. Ooh. So like I got taken for a ride, and you could tell like I actually like if I don't watch something. I don't totally buy into it. The YouTube video is its own entertainment. So, like, I can see he was definitely, like, leaning into, like, the money he does make on hating on Rian Johnson. But, yeah, he straight up lied.
Not good. You can't do that. You can't just go straight up lying.
Nope. But, the game is the game. The game is the game. You gotta
if you're going to review something, make sure you actually watch what you're reviewing.
I think that's pretty important. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that was the biggest thing about that Critical Drinker video. It's like he didn't watch it. He just watched the trailers and then got pissed and just made a video off that. Like,
Yep.
It was comical.
It was interesting to watch one of my favorites get taken down justly. Like he had it coming, and I haven't seen him respond to it because and also comes into like on the other side of like if you're on a certain other side of the spectrum, you better fucking like that thing, or else you might lose your job. And yeah, I definitely like watch for that, so I don't completely buy into what I see if I don't actually watch myself. But yeah, the world of entertainment is weird, and that's kind of like, once again, what the podcast here is for, so that we can just fucking normally talk about shit. You can dislike it, you can like it, and it's always okay.
Yeah. I think that kind of Discord is difficult to come by.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a sort. Yeah, it's almost like you. If you dislike something or you like something, that puts you in these different camps, and you're not supposed to talk to each other.
Yeah, and I'm so freaking tired of those camps or camping at all when it comes to that kind of thing. So yeah, glad to have you guys here so we can just talk normally about geekness. All right,
those are my battle lines. I'm all done.
All right. Let's see what I've been geeking on. I'll start with because of like I saw the battleground for Willow, and I my heart was just shattered when I saw Rings of Power. I watched all of it and I hated it. Mm-hmm. And like I just don't want to be a part of like social justice back and forthing on like television. But I was like, yeah, man, I really wish I could go for some sword and sorcery. So many years ago, Legend of the Seeker had been recommended, and it was like a descendant of the Hercules Action Pack kind of production. And
Action Pack.
Yeah, I finally gave it a go, and I'm in love. Like, this show is everything that I kind of want in fantasy. Like, you have boys and girls. Like, there's no, like, elevating one or the other. They fight side by side. Everybody gets to have their cool and suck moments. You get to, and the fun of getting to, like, know characters that you've just met, where you just kind of get in the ground floor, and you're like, who are these people? And the old way of shows where you don't have to be the greatest show right the fuck away. You get to watch the show single episode by single episode, self-contained, which is also fun and old school, where instead of being serialized where every episode leads to the next, which I'm also just getting worn out on. You sit down, you hit play, you get a beginning and end of an episode complete, and you're like, that was a fun sit. I get to enjoy it, and I do recommend it. It's 90s or early 2000s fantasy schlock, but it's a lot of fun. Anybody check out Legend Seeker?
Never seen it before.
Never heard of it, but it looks like Sam Raimi is behind it.
Yep. Sam Raimi's crew. Sam Raimi and New Zealand era Power Rangers, I'm noticing. Like Power Ranger.
It was produced in New Zealand, so I wonder if they did that because give it sort of like that Lord of the Rings feel where
absolutely
a lot of the scenery has sort of like a fantasy quality to it.
Well, plus the incentives, because New Zealand went pretty hard into offering productions incentives to come film there, especially after the success of Lord of the Rings, and they saw how much of a influx of money to their economy that produced. So they just started throwing incentives around everywhere to get more people to produce content or do shows there.
Yeah. Yep, beautiful landscapes, and I've seen at least 2 Power Ranger alumni show up in there. So it's just kind of fun to see, like old actors that you've seen other places. Yeah, Legend of Seeker. It's a lot of fun if you just like want old school episode per episode fun. Legend of Seeker.
Wasn't that part of like the Saturday afternoon action pack, like you're referring to, like with Xena and Hercules and all that?
Yeah, I believe it came after those shows ended, and there's like I wouldn't ever call it dark or hard edged, but it's a tad less goofy than Hercules and Xena were, but you can still get the same kind of like certain kinds of sound effects and feel of those shows if you enjoyed them. So if you like those, you probably like Legend of Seeker. Yeah,
it was originally a book. Looks like by Terry Goodkind.
I've heard people keep on screaming on top of mountains, please read the books. They're really good.
I read The Sword of Truth by him. Not the whole thing, because apparently it's 21 books, and I know I didn't read 21 books by Terry Goodkind. But I think I read some of them, and I remember enjoying them. I don't remember a single character or plot point from them, but I remember liking it. But Keith, something really quick I want to kind of jump into what you're saying. It's like, I know that you've really been kind of getting more into these more one and done modular kind of episodes.
Stargate type shows, yeah.
Right, Stargate, Star Trek The Next Generation, you name it, anything from before a certain time period, right? Anything like, I would really say, I kind of saw the real birth of serialization with Battlestar Galactica. Like
I was going to say exactly Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, and that's really the direction now we've gone in. That seems to be what people crave, is everything has to be, a cliffhanger, and then, what's going to happen on the next episode? And now, personally, I really like serialized things. It keeps me involved, and I like a nice overarching story. However, I'm going to compare this to video games. I remember in like the late 90s, like back when the N64 and the PlayStation were coming out, everything was about 3D games. And everything had to be 3D, and if anybody was making or playing 2D games like old Castlevania games, old Mario Brothers, you name it, then you're behind the times and you're doing it wrong.
Yep.
And then eventually, people realized, oh no, this is just two different ways of doing a great thing. And so now plenty of great 2D games are being made, plenty of great quote unquote 3D games are being made. So I feel like we're kind of now reaching to that again, maybe. I mean, I understand that this is from like between like 2008, 2010, but I think we're seeing less serialized things and more individual episodes of things. And so I think we're maybe going to see a return of that sort of like format.
I hope so. So, like, yeah, I was thinking exactly the Battlestar Galactica changeover, where there's just like this one single episode that everybody hates. I loved because it was all self-contained. It was like, what's that? Apollo? Like he was going on some kind of black market episode.
Oh God, the black market episode.
Yeah, people got so mad. I'm like, but like it began and ended. Thank you. But like, and that's why like I stay away from Netflix type shows where it's just like, and done with the episode. Yeah, but you gotta see the next one. I'm like, I gotta go to bed. I gotta do something. Please stop like dragging me to the next episode. I just, can you let me go after one, and I'll come back when I'm ready. And yeah, that's the frustration that I'm experiencing. But the unfortunate thing I'm finding though is that whenever someone tries to attempt these kind of episodic shows, they don't last. Like, was it the real Star Trek, the Orville, Thunder Crushed single episodes. Good. They're amazing.
So good.
And every season they're struggling like a motherfucker to get another season. It does seem like it's freaking over. So
yeah, I think it is. It's a damn
I'm still
shame.
Holding out hope.
Yeah.
No, I'm still holding out, man.
Yeah, me too. I hope
if Discovery gets another season, Orville gets another season. Damn it.
Yeah, but Discovery does the episode. So yeah, like I want it to come back, but I think that it just isn't as beneficial to the streaming format that wants to keep you stuck to that platform.
I think that's a really good point. But if you think about it, it's like. Is what they want to do is they want to keep people watching, of course, and by that I mean they want to keep us watching month to month, not day to day or hour to hour. So you don't cancel your subscription, which is I think one of the big reasons why now they're starting to bring these episodes out every week as opposed to like all at once, so people can binge them.
Yeah. Netflix noticed. I think they spend all this money to have some people like enjoy it for a week or like a few days, and then they're out. Versus, everybody else is like, once a week, we keep you longer, we keep you on longer.
Yeah, and I'm sure you're right. Then a lot of people they've been watching it. You get a cliffhanger on January 31st, and you have to like say subscribe through February whatever to keep watching it. And so that's whatever makes the most money. That's what it's going to come down to.
And then and also I've found that it's fun that I have like an almost infinite toy box to sift through for TV shows that do that still. So I'm okay. The future can do it at once, and I can explore lots of old anime, such as The Dirty Pair, which has been thunder killing it. Oh my god, that show is really good. It also does single episodes. I'd almost say I wouldn't say to its detriment, but since how much we've gotten used to show's building up to an all-out finale, it was kind of sad that like Dirty Pair, like every episode, self-contained, the animation is off the charts, amazing and detailed, and then the last episode is just another pretty fucking great episode, and then it's over. It wasn't a build-up of this bad guy over 26 episodes. It was just like the latest caper. It was really good, and so long, we're out. And you're like, "Aw, wow. Yeah."
Was it canceled early? Oh, sorry, Chuck.
Not canceled. It just ended its run of like 26 episodes.
I was going to say throughout this conversation, the kind of show I miss, maybe they're out there and I've just been not seeing them, was sort of the kind of like the style of X-Files or Cowboy Bebop, where you have this ongoing story, but then what they do is they pepper in a bunch of standalone episodes where if you see them or miss them, whatever, but just kind of flushes out the world and make things fun and like I said, I may be missing something out there that's like that, but I always enjoyed that format.
I think if you're looking for something like that, Fringe. Did you watch that?
No, I've not.
Yeah, that's kind of the fun of like what I've like how I've been exploring TV, where like I like this kind of show. What's still out there? And I never got too deep into X-Files, although I kind of think I might want to try sometime. But the other X-Files show that people once upon a time just spammed the recommendation of was Fringe. So if you're looking to get that feel again.
Yeah, well, not necessarily the feel of the show, but sort of like the structure of the stories.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily have to be anime or paranormal or whatever, but that always stuck with me.
Oh, you know what show I think did that really well is Supernatural.
Oh, yeah. That's something I need to get back to as well.
Yep, they didn't do I didn't like watch the last like couple of seasons of that, I want to say. But
how many seasons did you watch?
Hold on, I'll actually need to look up how many there were. Well, they got 30, 40 seasons.
13 seasons.
Then I watched 11. Dude. 11 seasons. Yeah.
I think I got to 5 maybe.
I gave up after the first.
Oh, you didn't like it?
It was fun for the first half of the first season. After that, I was like, they can't possibly keep this going.
But
I start running out of steam because, like, if I get that feeling of this is going to get repetitive really quick. Because I had that feeling with House because I loved House at first, and I got through the first 3 seasons of that. And like, okay, this template for every episode's ridiculous. I'm done.
But MJ, Dean is so handsome. He's so handsome.
Pretty man. He's a pretty man.
I like those 2 actors. Those 2 actors are great. I couldn't see that format going much longer, and then I find out, the show's finally wrapping up in its 13th season. Like, you kept it going for 13 seasons? Are you kidding me? No, of course, Grey's Anatomy is going on 21 seasons, so I guess I can't say much.
That show's still going? I didn't even know.
Grey's Anatomy is still going strong.
Holy shit.
So, like, Supernatural is also that thing that I miss in TV shows where they can afford to not have the greatest first season, and each, like, up to where I was watching, where I hear it does fall off, but where I was watching, each season really did get better than the last. And like season finales, it goes so fucking hard. I'll be like, holy fucking shit! Like, they kept on getting better, and I just liked it. Like Stargate and this, like, have room to fuck up, have room not to be the greatest, so that I can watch you try to get better. Versus now, I see like shows are like, you better be the best season, the first season, or you're canceled.
Right. Yeah, I've been half tempted to give Supernatural another try because I saw they added a John Constantine-esque character to it. And like, did they go full Constantine with him, or did they just do Constantine from Wish?
I think
from what I understand, it's full Constantine. Yeah.
Wait, are we talking about Cass?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think.
Oh, Cass is so great.
Yes.
I love him
so much.
I only saw him start to show up, so like that's where I fell off.
Oh,
so God. That does remind me. I have to go back to Supernatural.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right, I'll give. Yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Castile. I mean, Castile is like, to have an analogous to Breaking Bad is like Gus and what's his nuts from Breaking Bad. Just those are the characters I started watching that show for. I could really give a damn about Jesse and Walter after a while.
I'll tell you, like, listen, I love the dynamic between Sam and Dean, but if it weren't for Cass, I would have stopped watching it probably whenever Cass showed up. Honestly, he was necessary, and they make you care. But listen, give it another shot, and if it's still not for you, then and I'll tell you what, I'll give Breaking Bad another shot.
I furiously boycotted Supernatural so hard.
Furiously,
I was so mad because like it was. Were we friends while I was doing that?
Oh, probably.
Because I was a Buffy the Vampire Slayer fan, hardcore. I was that Angel to the core. And to me, Supernatural was like the shitty version of Buffy. And then Buffy and Angel freaking got canceled. And like, what? And then Supernatural should get canceled too. And it just kept on going on and on. I'm like,
oh, not fair.
Yeah.
Not fair.
Yeah. And that's also why I didn't watch Stargate. Because I was Farscape. And Farscape gets canceled. Stargate keeps going. What is this world? And eventually once I got over it, it's you can just like different TV shows. So
yeah.
All right. Let's see. I'm gonna try 2 more geek things. To prepare myself for the upcoming phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I'm reading the classic Secret Wars comic book. Where it looks like Marvel All-Stars, it's like mid-80s, they get pulled to Battle Planet, where classic Avengers bad guys, the X-Men and the Avengers all duke it out, and the power dynamics in the comic are really interesting. I feel like I'm reading it before the big explosion of the X-Men, because the X-Men are punks. Like, they can't take Spider-Man. Spider-Man will show up and take the whole squad. They can't keep up with one guy. And there's like a major part in it where Colossus gets hit by a guy with a crowbar and nearly fucking dies. And just kind of like, whoa.
What?
Yeah. Like,
where'd he get hit?
He got hit in his ribs by a guy with a crowbar from the.
But was it in his metal? Was he? Well,
yes, he was in metal form.
That's
while you're reading
it, a magical crowbar. What the hell?
Super crowbar.
A super crowbar.
When you read it, like the big fucking dogs on the playing field are Iron Man, the Hulk. Like if anyone who can take a real hit is Iron Man, the Hulk, and some of the bad guys. And Doctor Doom can take basically everybody on every team. But yeah, the power dynamics are amazing. Like freaking Wolverine got one shot by Spider-Man. Spider-Man just backhanded him out of like the entire fight. And it's just kind of like weird to see this happen. But I mean,
that's when you can tell who are the best-selling titles at the time.
Yeah. But then like also there's a fun aspect to it where like the X-Men being the underdogs kind of makes you root for them more because they have to fight harder to survive. And when they do make a win, you're like, all right, go X-Men. So I can see like probably that's what people are feeling as the X-Men started to rise. Yeah, and I'm just kind of like reading it to see who I think is going to be in the upcoming Secret Wars movie, where I'm guessing this is why Wolverine is coming back. He definitely has to be in Secret Wars.
Or are they going to do a Secret Wars movie? I thought they were going with the whole Kang dynasty thing, and that was going to be Kang was going to be their big bad for the next 2 phases.
There's Secret Invasion and
right.
Avengers Secret Wars is coming.
Oh, I guess I missed that in the almighty release schedule that they keep vomiting out.
So yeah, for Secret Wars, the people you have to have in place are definitely Wolverine, Wasp, Storm, and yeah, I wonder how they're going to make Doctor Doom show up for Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, look at that! 2026, the final movie of Phase 6. I'll be darned.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Before that happens, like they need to have themselves one killer Doctor Doom. So
finally,
it's gonna be interesting to see how they pull all this stuff together. And
so, do you recommend reading Secret Wars? Is it good? Are you enjoying it?
I think I would. It's not like a masterpiece of like Alan Moore or Grant Morrison level, but it's just kind of like this fun time capsule of like what once was and what's probably going to be, and just enjoying this mishmash of like a toy box of characters, all mixing up and fighting each other and arguing against each other, and someone saying, you know, wait, I'm the leader. No, you're the leader, or this and that, and like seeing like Captain America or Professor X and Captain America like team up together, or hearing Wolverine talk smack to Spider-Man. It's it's a lot of fun. I would definitely recommend it. It's pretty robust.
I.e. back in the days when big crossovers were actual events versus nowadays where it's like, oh god, sales are sagging, quick, crossover.
Get them in there, get them all in there.
Beautiful events instead of like freaking financial obligations, which is when I had to tap out of comic books. I'm like, look, I don't want to know everything that happened. But
what, you don't want a 0 hour every 2 years like DC's been doing for the last 20 years?
Not so.
Or another crisis, excuse me.
Or actually, sure, but I'll get the trade paperback 5-10 years later. All right, and then lastly, what I've been geeking on is what should I pick? Sukuban Deka or Jurassic World Dominion? I'll say really quickly, Jurassic World Dominion, against everyone, I loved it. I'll even go as far as say loved it. It was it was convoluted. It was silly. It was cheesy, and that's what I want.
Oh, yes.
It was a monster movie, and like I think people are looking for the la da da wonder of Steven Spielberg, and really feeling that place. But if you want like Indiana Jones monster movie adventure, I had a blast with freaking Dominion. I've been wanting this for a long time. Ever since I read the first Jurassic World book. And I was like, okay, fuck yes. How do we get this to Dinosaur Planet and danger in neighborhoods? And they kind of hit that mark. And there's just lots of fun of the motorcycle chase against raptors through a city.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, great showdowns. The new characters, the pilot chick, she was fun. Yeah,
the apology to Justice Smith for the last movie. Yeah.
Yeah, Justice Smith, he was not emasculated horribly, which was appreciated. Did you guys see it? Did you guys hate it?
I watched the entire Jurassic series leading up to that, so I was kind of reindoctrinated to everything going into it. I thought it was a fun end cap to the entire series. I'm kind of hoping that it is the end cap to the series, because I don't see how they can do any more with that story. But yeah, it was a good campy fun movie.
Yeah, campy fun.
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen, I think, that or the one leading up to it. But I keep kind of meaning to, and I really like hearing that you enjoyed it, that you both enjoyed it. So maybe I'll check it out now.
Yeah. If you're looking for dinosaur monster movie action fun, and not it's not going to be that thoughtful, you'll be okay. If you want to see someone outrun raptors through a city, that chase was so much fucking fun. It was like speeder bikes through a forest, but a motorcycle through a city, dodging dinosaurs. Fuck yes.
And what did you say that it didn't have the Spielbergian Google-eyed wonder or something? La-di-da.
Yeah.
I mean, look.
Spielberg, la-di-da.
Yeah, it didn't have the grandiosity of the first
Spielberg
movie.
That's
okay.
La-di-da equals grandiosity. Yes.
Yeah, and listen, I mean, I like that as much as the next guy. And I feel like, is there a place in our media for La-di-da wonder now in 2023?
Oh I think so. And I just don't understand why no one's really doing it lately.
Oh, I can tell you why. Because people want to see Jaded. They feel like if we're seeing something that's like, wow, look at this, that we're being spoken down to. Hot take.
Also, I have to wonder if, when I hear La-di-da, I think of, fantasy and whimsy, and it kind of goes back to the discussion on Willow, but I have to wonder if, kind of the seriousness of and particularly in terms of fantasy, high fantasy, I wonder if, Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones had such an impact on fantasy films where anything less serious than those films may be viewed as too kiddie or too immature.
Yeah, and the necessary MCU thing of making fun of it so that you don't look like you're too into it.
Right.
is definitely too prevalent.
I'm actually glad that you brought that up because it's something I was thinking while we're having this conversation is, has there truly been a movie or a series of movies that hit the same level of majesty that the original Lord of the Rings trilogy did?
No.
I personally, I don't think so. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's been 20 years.
Well, I think the thing with Lord of the Rings, it seems like one of those tentpole film experiences that happen rarely in our lifetimes. Like, for example, going back to Jaws and Star Wars and the creation of the blockbuster movie as we know it, there's only been so many films that kind of got everybody's attention worldwide, like Jurassic Park being one of the original, for the first Jurassic Park film being one of those. Absolutely.
Yeah. I remember seeing Fellowship in the theater and those credits rolling and just sitting there stunned.
Me too.
Stunned. I couldn't move. I didn't know what to do.
Okay, yeah. When I first watched it, I was like, okay, let me just watch this bullshit. I'm sorry, whatever. This is a fantasy movie. Okay, whatever. I'm disappointed by poor Dungeons and Dragons that I had my high hopes for.
Yeah.
That freaking exploded into a wall of flame. And then that opening's voice happens, and then the part where I just went, oh, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. Was when freaking Saruman was fucking up Gandalf and spraying him around the room and threw him up into the sky. I was like, what the fuck is happening? And after it was over, I called Chuck, I called Mark, I called my friend Max. I was like, it's happened. Star Wars got topped. What the? It happened. They're like, yeah, Keith.
I remember that.
I'm sure.
I remember that.
Yep.
That's so funny.
Yeah, I'm sure, Keith. I'm sure. You guys don't understand. It's happening. Yeah. So, yeah, it's been a long time since I experienced that much genuine heart. The closest I've come to it is Avengers and Avengers Endgame. But even there, it wasn't so much that I really felt like I was engulfed by the world,
right?
As much as I experienced the great event. They're still great, but yeah,
dude, Avengers. I remember watching Avengers with our whole crew at the time went and saw it.
Yeah.
Keith, you, me, Jason, Jim, and it was one of the first times I truly cheered during a movie.
But the crowd we had with us was so much fun. Yeah, the
first
Avengers.
Yes. First Avengers.
Yeah.
Yep.
When he said, and that guy's playing Galaga. And they actually went to shot the guy playing Galaga. The crowd just erupted in laughter. That was some of the most fun I've had in the theater ever.
Good Joss Whedon when he still cared.
Yeah. Okay, and then I'm going to say one last thing I've been geeking on, which would be The Keep. The
Michael Mann movie?
Yeah, that was so much fun and such a bizarre transportation to another world. It's about it's fun going into not knowing.
Oh yeah, The Keep.
Whoa.
Oh god, yes, I'm glad you saw it,
dude. It's so weird. I love it. This is the perfect just bizarre 80s. Mm-hmm. What are we even doing here? You know what? I don't mean to jump in on this. Sorry, but
please.
This is one of those rainy Sunday morning on TV movies.
Yep,
for me.
What the fuck is this? You turn it on, you don't know what's going to happen, and then whoa!
What is happening? So weird.
You get blasted into that cavern where some ancient civilization may have existed, and the demon rises up, and the way it starts doesn't feel like it's going to go that hard. It starts very serious World War II movie, and you're like, okay, I know what feel this is going for, and then the glowing lightning and the ghost of God starts floating through hallways, and the music of Tangerine Dream. God fucking damn, that was a trip. I'm so glad I finally saw that.
Oh, dude, I'm gonna rewatch it now. You brought it up.
Yeah, I love World War II films, both fictional and whatever, but this was crazy. I've always seen the movie poster, throughout the decades, and I'm like, oh, that's such a cool poster. I should look into what that movie's about. I had no idea it's about Nazi soldiers resurrecting a demon or something.
Yeah, it's a Cthulhu satanic panic encounter, and
nice.
by the end of it, you can tell that something happened with the production. Because there's these sudden fast cuts, and suddenly people are dying too fast.
The cut of that ending is just atrocious. It's so abrupt. You can tell the studio stepped in.
All its faults involved, it's still, I cannot recommend it highly enough. Like there's like a elsewhere in the Highlander weird universe.
Did you read the book?
No.
There's a book of this?
It is adapted from a horror novel that came out in 1981, and it was one of those deals where they optioned it as soon as the book was written and published.
Dude.
Huh.
Ooh.
And it sounds like it was originally a 3.5-hour film, but it had to get cut down. Maybe that's why.
I would throw down real money for the full cut of that, and
Absolutely.
I hope.
I wonder if Michael Mann would even dare going back to that. Because I've read interviews with Mann, he sounded very jaded by the entire experience. Just probably why he hasn't gone back to the horror fantasy genre since.
I do really. I the last time I saw this, like in modern times, I guess, was like maybe 6-7 years ago. I watched this when I was sick with the flu. I just remember posting up and just waking up from fever dreams and like, I'm going to watch The Keep.
Oof, that sounds fun.
It was great.
You know how much the demon looked like Apocalypse from the X-Men?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
He does. I wonder if there's a connection.
Definite Apocalypse.
That being the end of what I'm geeking on, before we close up the episode and go on to the next episode where we review the movie, has there anything in geek news worth talking about that's been going on? I feel like there's been some things that happened.
Well, I had a question to pose to all of you. They came out with the nominations for the awards season this week, the Oscars and the Razzies.
Yes.
Question I wanted to pose to you guys. What movies do you think were snubbed from... One movie from the Oscars and which movie was snubbed from the Razzies?
Oh, I don't watch enough movies to know, sadly enough.
I would say that... I'll go first if that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought Nope was a definite snub by the Oscars. I thought that should at least have gotten a few technical awards, if not for the screenplay, because I love that freaking movie. But the Batman got nominations over Nope.
Ew.
Nope didn't get anything?
Nothing.
Whoa. That's a crime.
It should have at least, like, special effects stuff were amazing, and that's ridiculous.
I'm going to say it's because of it. Like, to me, Nope is on the same level as Tremors. And Tremors probably didn't gain Oscar nominations either. It's just because of their genre, likely. Because Tremors also, like, it's the same feel, kind of almost structure to it. And I understand why Nope didn't get it. Because the fun, creative movies like that just don't hit with the Oscars.
Well, even Mia Goth, who was in the movie X and its spin-off, I'm forgetting the name of the spin-off at the moment, she was going on record this week saying how the Oscars just hates horror movies. And
and fantasy and sci-fi, all of that. They may get technical achievements, but anything else they really don't get attention for. But that being said, with Lord of the Rings, the last one, the Return of the King, won every single nomination, which was like 11, 12, 13, I forget. But a lot of people were like,
a little too late.
Well, I think it's because it meant to be, it was more for the accomplishment of all three films as opposed to just Return of the King.
I think that was too large for like the Oscars to try to even ignore. Like, box office and technical and all the achievements it hit. Like, you just could not deny that one.
Yeah, exactly.
With Nope, it was such a Spielberg send-up from Jordan Peele. I figure like at least a couple of the Academy Award voters would have gone, "Oh, okay, we get it." But no.
Yeah, for cinematography or something at least, you think.
Right.
I do want to say I'm looking at some of the nominations here, and I believe there was a mix-up. I see that Morbius has been nominated for a Razzie. And I'm assuming that they meant to give it an Academy Award for Best Picture.
I'm preparing myself for
a movie, right?
Morbius.
I haven't seen it yet. That's all I know.
I have a dark feeling that I might like Morbius, so I'm bracing myself for that one.
I haven't seen it either. But
let's put it this way, Keith. Did you like Catwoman?
The first one, not
exactly. First one, the only one.
First one.
Oh, yeah. No, it was definitely an experience. And I gave
Morbius is Catwoman level awful.
Whoa.
We'll see.
That's epic. I want to watch it more now.
Yes, I'm very curious about what Morbius does.
It doesn't have anything as epic as the basketball scene from Catwoman. or the seesaw scene from Daredevil, but it's the dance scene from Matt Smith. It's like, oh my god, why, Matt? Why? But speaking of the Razzies, I also thought I don't know why they went so hard after the movie Blonde, which wasn't that awful. It wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. But Moonfall, I thought, was a big exception from their nomination list.
Fuck yes, Moonfall. I love that movie. I'll champion it to the rest of my days. That was so much fun. Really quickly, not to keep on going what I geek on, but I did want to talk about the Oscar Award nominee Tar, because a friend was like, "Hey, let's watch Oscar nominees, see what the buzz is about." Did anybody watch Tar?
I'm gonna watch that probably tonight or tomorrow.
No, I don't know anything about it.
Holy
it's
God, it's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a character study about a woman who is rising in like the orchestra conducting world, and she makes some choices, and bad things happen. And like, it's just such a perfectly like serious snobby movie. There's no like, it's away from the dorkness that I usually enjoy, and I loved it. Like, that movie's gonna stick with me forever. And I can I spoil like no. There's like a final shot. Okay, there's a final shot that won't make sense, and it won't change the trajectory of what you're seeing. Oh, here, all I'm gonna say is you wouldn't expect a snobby movie like this to make a Capcom reference, but
okay, I like that.
Art fart movie, its climax is something that is a massive Capcom video game reference.
Wow!
And when it happens, when it happens, you won't know it unless you have played that game a lot. But then I was just like sitting through the credits, and it was like, yeah, Capcom and this game. Like, what the fuck?
Whoa!
Like, yeah, this movie, like, you wouldn't
expect
rising. Yeah, seriously. You wouldn't expect a snobby movie like this about orchestra and life and pianos and cellists to end with a deep cut about Capcom.
How deep
and then it cuts to black.
How deep we talking here?
Well, the final shot is Kate Blanchett Hadouken a piano.
I won't go. I won't say anything more.
See that,
but yeah.
Honestly, yeah.
Because like you, the way you're expecting the movie to end is definitely not in a Capcom world.
Let me tell you,
they don't go into the Capcom world, but yeah, it's
Chuck. You said that, and I'm like, well, I think it's got to be deeper.
I'll say it's just like
a nerd.
That's
okay. Don't tell us. Don't tell us. We gotta watch it.
It's a great like late Saturday date movie. Chill. You will be swept away. The pacing of the. Like, a lot of movies like I watch, I like taking pictures of them because they hit these beats that maybe go, whoa, awesome. This, I was completely enthralled. No pictures whatsoever. The story just swept me away. So that, and then lastly, and then I'm done. I'm so sorry that I'm doing this because we've all been saying, like, please don't go too long with too many different things. But last thing, because I talk about it constantly, there's a live-action Three-Body Problem TV show that's currently airing. Made in China, but being released on YouTube for free legally and subtitled in English. And I do highly recommend it. Like, if you don't want to read the book, this is staying amazingly faithful to so many beats and feels of the book that a lot of fans are pretty happy. They're adding a little bit more. Like, the book is there's a good amount in the book, but you wouldn't think it'd be 30 fucking episodes worth. But yeah, here we are. And it releases like 5 per week. So
is that fan sub?
No, it's legit from the people making it.
Nice.
They really want America to get in on it because it's gigantic over in China, and they want to try to have the same effect on the world that America does when we make something that's big over here. And also, they wanted to beat Netflix to the punch. Because it's their cultural like touchstone of like, holy shit, like we've hit our own Game of Thrones, and then Netflix like, sure, we'll make one too, and then China's like, fuck that.
Yeah, it's like, wait, hold on, no, we got it, don't worry. Yeah. So, that's I forgot that. Yeah, there is one being produced already for Netflix, but That's
the Game of Thrones guys.
It's a series.
Yeah, the Game of Thrones guys.
Yep, Game of Thrones guys and Ryan Johnson.
Oh no,
Ryan Johnson. Oh
Yes.
no!
no, Ryan Johnson, the Game of Thrones guys. I'm like,
But Ryan, Luke Skywalker is in it, and he's so angry and weird.
He's just always in the background, just getting beat up, just constantly in the background, just getting.
I'm so bad at Jedi now.
You know,
on his blue milk.
I'm trying to take it easy on Ryan Johnson because it's starting to feel like more or less Jedi was an aberration as filmography, but I'm still leery. I mean, he just came out with a new series on Peacock called Poker Face with Natasha Lyonne that I really want to check out, but there's still that thing in the back of my mind of it's Ryan Johnson, though, and I'm still on the fence about how I really feel about Glass Onion.
I while I was watching Last Jedi, I knew he was doing that on purpose. Like not so much fucking up the story, but he was trying to hurt us. Not in a malicious way, but he was. But yeah, he wasn't trying to, and not as overtly a malicious way, but he wanted. He's like, I got you in the theater. There's no escape. I'm gonna make you feel all this, and he fucking did it. So like, yeah, down the road, I got the Ryan Johnson trilogy so that we can have a full conversation about what he is as a filmmaker. Where we start with like one of my favorite movies of all time that he did, Brick. That one I used to make sure everybody watched it. Looper, not so much. I would say that maybe as a fourth one. I like Looper a lot though. But I think the trilogy would be, to me, his best. Brick. Then we go Last Jedi. Then I hear Knives Out was really good. So I want to see like, how do I feel post Last Jedi? Can he still become the king to me again?
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yep. Sorry. I was gonna. Good. If we can end with that, great.
All right. So yeah, is there anything else in the geek world that we want to talk about?
No, I think that's good. I think we're ready to get all sci-fi.
Get on to the movie.
Agreed.
Cool. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to us. And we'd love to see you in the next episode where we talk about the black hole. If not, thank you for hanging out with us, and Geek out.